The game has changed. Honda's bold move could leave electric cars in the dust. For years, the world believed that the electric vehicle, EV, was the final destination in the journey to a greener future. Governments backed it, companies raced to develop better batteries, and the public began plugging in. But just when it seemed like the road ahead was paved with lithium, Honda slammed the brakes and made a dramatic turn in a direction no one saw coming. Forget everything you thought you knew about the future of cars. Imagine a vehicle that doesn't guzzle gasoline, doesn't wait hours at a charging station, and doesn't even depend on the electric grid. That might sound like a scene from a futuristic sci-fi movie, but it's now Honda's reality. In a stunning revelation that's sending shockwaves through the global auto industry, Honda's CEO unveiled something truly radical. An engine powered not by electricity or fossil fuels, but by hydrogen. Yes, hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. Odorless, invisible, and, when used right, capable of producing nothing but water as its only emission. And Honda isn't just experimenting. They've built a system so advanced, so efficient, and so versatile, it could challenge the very foundation of the EV movement itself. While automakers like Tesla, Ford, and Hyundai have doubled down on batteries, range anxiety, and ultra-fast charging stations, Honda was quietly working behind the curtain, rethinking transportation from the ground up, not chasing the competition, not trying to beat EVs at their own game, but rewriting the rules entirely. This isn't the first time Honda's gone against the current. Back in the 1970s, when U.S. emission laws threatened to choke the auto industry, Honda introduced the CVCC engine, clean enough to pass the rules without even needing a catalytic converter. Later came the legendary VTEC system, which made small engines feel like high-performance beasts. And let's not forget the early 2000s, when hybrid fever was just catching on. Honda dropped the Insight, a hybrid that was as fun to drive as it was efficient. Now the company is doing it again. With a deep commitment to achieving carbon neutrality by 2050, Honda isn't just making bold claims. They're putting radical innovation into motion. Their hydrogen-powered vehicle isn't just an alternative to EVs, it's a challenge to everything EVs represent. Let's be honest, electric vehicles have taken over the conversation. They glide past us in silence, promise zero emissions, and have become the golden symbol of the green revolution. From the city streets of Los Angeles to the countryside roads of Europe, EVs are quickly becoming the norm. They look futuristic, feel fast, and offer an escape from fossil fuels. But as the honeymoon phase fades, deeper truths are beginning to emerge. Truths that reveal the electric dream may be more complicated than we once believed. Behind every sleek EV lies a massive lithium-ion battery, and those batteries aren't made of magic. They're built from elements like lithium, cobalt, and nickel pulled from deep beneath the earth. The mining of these materials doesn't just scar landscapes, it devastates ecosystems, exploits human labor, and in some places fuels conflict. It's the part of the EV story no one likes to talk about. And once those batteries reach the end of their life, the nightmare continues. Battery recycling is still a logistical mess, costly, inefficient, and far from being truly circular. For a solution that's supposed to be sustainable, it raises an uncomfortable question. Are we just shifting the pollution somewhere else? And then there's charging. Yes, infrastructure is improving. Yes, speeds are getting faster. But in the real world, fast still isn't fast enough. Even with cutting-edge chargers, a full battery can still take 30 minutes to an hour, an eternity if you're on a long journey or simply short on time. What's worse, the growing number of EVs is beginning to stress power grids in major cities. In some regions, owners are being warned not to charge during peak hours to avoid blackouts. Suddenly, your eco-friendly car starts to feel like a burden on the very system it's meant to help fix. Cost adds another layer of complexity. Despite all the innovation, EVs remain expensive. For many families, they're still out of reach. Government incentives help, but how long will they last? As raw material prices climb and demand surges, affordability becomes another elusive promise. And so Honda, the company known for challenging norms and thinking ahead, dared to ask a question that felt almost blasphemous in today's electrified world. What if electric isn't the only answer? Enter hydrogen, a solution that sounds almost too perfect to be true. It's clean, powerful, and abundantly available. When hydrogen meets oxygen inside a fuel cell, the result isn't smoke or soot. It's electricity and water vapor. That's it. No tailpipe emissions, no carbon footprint, no guilt. It's a form of energy that doesn't just promise a cleaner future, it delivers one. But this isn't Honda's first hydrogen rodeo. Back in 2015, while most automakers were still figuring out EVs, Honda took a leap into the future with the Clarity fuel cell. It looked like a car from another dimension, and in many ways it was. Packed with cutting-edge wave-flow fuel cell technology, the Clarity transformed hydrogen into clean power with breathtaking efficiency. It boasted a range of 360 miles, delivered an impressive 88 mpg, and moved with the grace and silence of a whisper. It wasn't just a car, it was a glimpse into what the future could be. But the future, it turned out, wasn't quite ready. Hydrogen fueling stations were rare, almost mythical, outside of a few forward-thinking places like California or Tokyo. Drivers loved the idea, but had nowhere to refuel. And while the technology was sound, the narrative wasn't clear. Hydrogen sounded technical, even intimidating to the everyday person. Electric cars, on the other hand, were simple. Plug in, charge up, and drive away. They were easy to understand, easy to market, and soon became fashion statements. EVs were endorsed by celebrities, embraced by influencers, and backed by generous government support. Meanwhile, the Clarity, despite its brilliance, remained in the shadows, appreciated by few and largely ignored by the mainstream. By 2021, Honda quietly ended its production. But make no mistake, the Clarity was never a failure. It was a seed planted too early in the soil of innovation. It was a rehearsal for a performance the world wasn't yet ready to watch. It taught Honda lessons not just about hydrogen, but about timing, storytelling, and infrastructure. And now, as the cracks in the electric dream grow wider, Honda is stepping forward once more, not with hesitation, but with renewed purpose. This time, they're not whispering innovation. They're ready to shout it from the rooftops. After years of silence, Honda has re-emerged, not quietly, but with a roar that's shaking the very foundation of the automotive world. They're not following trends. They're not trying to win the EV race. They've come back with something far bolder. In partnership with General Motors, Honda has unveiled a machine that doesn't just promise a better future, it brings it roaring into the present. It's called the CR-V Hydrogen SUV, and it's not a prototype or a concept teased for some distant date. It's real, it's here, and it's unlike anything the road has ever seen. At first glance, the CR-V Hydrogen might look familiar. It wears the same confident lines and practical shape that families and commuters have come to love. But beneath the surface, everything has changed. Hidden within its sculpted frame are two ultra-high-pressure hydrogen tanks, compact, powerful, and elegantly integrated into the body. These aren't bulky batteries that eat up trunk space. They're not anchors dragging down performance. Instead, they quietly feed a next-generation fuel cell stack that generates electricity on demand. There's no charging, no waiting, no plugging in, just pure instant power, ready the moment you turn the key. And when it's time to refuel, it takes just 3 to 5 minutes. That's right, faster than grabbing a cup of coffee, faster than any EV on the market today. You drive in, you fill up, you go. That kind of convenience could turn everything we think we know about green driving on its head. Because while other electric vehicles are still waiting to be charged, this hydrogen-powered CR-V is already back on the highway. But the brilliance doesn't end with fuel speed. Honda's vision for this SUV is far more ambitious. This isn't just a vehicle, it's a power solution on wheels. In the event of a blackout or natural disaster, the CR-V Hydrogen can serve as a mobile energy source, feeding power back into your home and keeping your lights on when the grid goes dark. It's not just transportation, it's peace of mind. It's resilience. It's a backup generator that you can also take on a road trip. And despite all this futuristic tech under the hood, Honda has managed to keep what drivers love most: space, comfort, and practicality. The hydrogen system is so efficiently designed that the CR-V's roomy interior remains untouched. Cargo space? Still there. Passenger comfort? Still top-notch. It's everything you expect from a CR-V, but reimagined with technology that belongs in the next decade. What makes Honda's return even more impressive is the way they're rolling this out. Not with hype, not with noise, but with precision. They're starting smart. California and Japan, places where hydrogen infrastructure is already growing, will be the first to welcome this quiet revolution. And as stations begin to spread across highways and cities, so too will Honda's hydrogen fleet. While others are shouting about the next big EV with wild concept cars and billion-dollar campaigns, Honda is playing the long game. They're building real vehicles for real people in the real world. The CR-V hydrogen SUV is not a gimmick. It's not trying to impress you with acceleration numbers or flashy touchscreens. It's trying to change the way we think about clean energy, mobility, and freedom. It offers long-range, lightning-fast refueling, zero tailpipe emissions, and the everyday comfort of a family SUV. It delivers on the promises EVs made, but through a different lens. And maybe, just maybe, in a better way. So now the question arises. A question that will echo through every garage, dealership, and driveway in the coming years. Is hydrogen actually better than electric? The answer, as always, depends on your priorities. If you're someone who values time, if you dread sitting at charging stations, if you live life on the move, then hydrogen is more than just a viable option. It could be your perfect match. Because in a world where time is precious, convenience is king. And the CR-V hydrogen doesn't just drive, it redefines what driving can be. When it comes to range, Honda's CR-V hydrogen SUV doesn't just compete, it dominates. On a full tank of hydrogen, it can travel nearly 400 miles without breaking a sweat. That's farther than most electric vehicles can dream of, and it does so without ever touching a power outlet. In a world where charging stations are still catching up to demand, where electricity grids are stretched to their limits during heat waves and blackouts, hydrogen-powered vehicles glide through without adding a single watt of stress. They're clean, efficient, and totally independent of a fragile, aging energy system. But this goes beyond just convenience. It's about the true cost of clean energy. Yes, EVs produce zero emissions while driving, but their hidden footprint begins long before the first mile is driven. Building a lithium-ion battery means tearing open the earth, extracting rare minerals like lithium and cobalt from distant mines, often under ethically questionable and environmentally destructive conditions. Then comes the manufacturing process, energy-intensive, chemically complex, and far from green. And what happens when the battery dies? Recycling is still inefficient and expensive, and the waste can be toxic. Hydrogen, by contrast, offers a radically different path, one that sidesteps those pitfalls entirely. Fuel cells require far fewer rare earth materials and are built to last longer. And when hydrogen is created through electrolysis using solar or wind power, what we call green hydrogen, its environmental impact is virtually zero. No mining, no emissions, no long-term waste, just water in, water out. It's not just clean, it's elegantly clean. Even on safety, hydrogen quietly scores points. Unlike EVs, which can be prone to high-temperature battery fires, hydrogen fuel cells run cooler, are lighter, and can be scaled up more easily for heavy-duty applications like buses, trucks, and even trains. In fact, for larger commercial transport, hydrogen may be the only practical way forward. It offers energy density without weight, fast refueling without downtime, and rugged reliability where it matters most. And the world is taking notice. In Japan, hydrogen isn't a fringe idea, it's policy. The government has woven hydrogen into its national energy strategy, investing heavily in infrastructure and research. Germany is building a hydrogen autobahn for commercial vehicles, rolling out fueling stations across the country. China, always with one eye on global dominance, is quietly pouring billions into hydrogen innovation, hoping to shape the future of mobility before the rest of the world even realizes the game has changed. Meanwhile, automotive pioneers like Honda, Toyota, and Mazda aren't waiting for trends, they're making them. These companies understand that putting all our bets on one technology, whether electric, hydrogen, or anything else, is a mistake. They're developing engines that run not only on hydrogen, but on synthetic fuels, biofuels, even ammonia. They're not trying to eliminate electric vehicles, they're trying to expand the future, to give drivers choices. Because sustainability isn't about a single solution, it's about a symphony of possibilities. For Honda, this hydrogen journey isn't a gamble, It's a strategic move rooted in decades of technical mastery. They've been here before. From the revolutionary CVCC engine to the Insight hybrid and the Clarity fuel cell, Honda has a history of showing the world what's possible long before others catch on. They understand that infrastructure matters, timing matters, vision matters. And as the hydrogen refueling network grows across the globe, the CR-V hydrogen SUV stands ready, not as a concept car or a flashy prototype, but as a real-world solution built for today. This might not feel like a revolution yet, but one day soon, you might see a CR-V hydrogen glide silently down your street and realize you're looking at something more than a car. You're looking at a symbol of the next era of clean transportation, a future where energy is abundant, emissions are forgotten, and waiting for a charge is a thing of the past. When that day comes, we'll remember this moment, not as a footnote in the rise of hydrogen, but as the beginning, the spark that reignited our imagination, the quiet turning point when we dared to ask, what if the answer was hydrogen all along? Because sometimes the future doesn't come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes in the form of a car that just works, cleanly, quietly, brilliantly. This is the return of hydrogen. This is Honda rewriting the story of motion. And the road ahead, it's wide open. It's wide.